Good afternoon. I hope you're having a great day. It's Thursday already. That means Shabbos can be far behind. This week's Torah portion is the portion of Vayechi, which is the last portion of the book of Genesis. And when we finish reading this portion, we will say, Chazak, Chazak, Menit Chazek. May we be strong and be strengthened. And we will move on to Exodus. We move from the family of the Jewish people, a small mishpucha of Jacob and Rachel and Leah, to a nation. And the nation building is difficult, which will lead for Exodus. But now on to Vayechi. Vayechi means the life. It speaks about actually Jacob's passing and the end of his life, when he calls his children closer and he blesses them. But before he blesses his children, Jacob has a special meeting with Joseph. He wants Joseph to guarantee that he's going to be buried not in Egypt, where they will worship him as an idol, but he will be taken to the Holy Land of Israel, to the cave of Machpelah, where Isaac and Rebekah and Abraham and Sarah are buried, and Leah. And that's what happens. But then he tells Joseph that he's going to give a special blessing to Joseph's two children that were born to Joseph while Jacob was still in Israel. They are Menashe and Ephraim. First of all, he makes them as part of the tribes. So Joseph had one spot amongst the 12 tribes, but now he gets two, because Levi, the Levite, is not counted with the tribes because he services in the temple. And the second thing is, he says that the Jewish people will always bless with you, saying, may God make you like Ephraim and Menashe. And the question, of course, is, why like Ephraim and Menashe? Many of you have the tradition in your homes on Friday night, before you make the Kiddush, you bless your children. And what do you tell your children? May God, you say the Birchat Kohanim, the priestly blessing, and then you say, may God make you to the girls to be like Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah. And to the boys, you say like Ephraim and Menashe. But why wouldn't we say by the boys the same thing we say by the girls? May God make you like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So there's a few answers given to this. The first answer is, if you look from the beginning of Genesis, through all the families, all the children that are born, there's always a sibling rivalry. If it's Cain and Abel, if it's Isaac and Ishmael, if it's Jacob and Esau, if it's Joseph and the 12 tribes, there's a sibling rivalry and dispute. This was the first family by Ephraim and Menashe, where there were two brothers and there was no sibling rivalry. So in Judaism, that's so important. You look around, you see people, the friction families might have amongst themselves. God says the children of Israel will bless their children by you because of the importance of having love for siblings. The second answer the rabbis give is because at the end of the day, Menashe and Ephraim are the first ones to be born totally in exile. Jacob wasn't there. The brothers sold him into slavery. And here they were growing up in a foreign land, a promiscuous land, yet they thrived, they grew. And as Jews, we're always traveling, we're always in exile. And therefore we bless our children that they should have the strength, that they should have the perseverance and the courage to be like Ephraim and Menashe, that even if they're in a strange land, and even if they're in a land that doesn't necessarily have the values that we're supposed to have, they should yet be strong and committed to who they are and prosper as they're supposed to. And the third is like this. At the end of the day, Menashe and Ephraim were the outcasts. All the brothers grew up together, the grandchildren. Next to Jacob, they had their parents next to them. They had a chevra. And Menashe and Ephraim were the outcasts. They grew up differently. And they grew up in exile, but also they grew up without their family. But yet, when the brothers came to Egypt, they embraced Ephraim and Menashe as part of their family. And that's the story of the Jewish people. Sometimes you look around and say, this guy, what does he have to do with Judaism? She doesn't engage in her Judaism. She's not interested. She doesn't observe. We learn from Ephraim and Menashe that every single Jew is part of our big tent, is part of our big family. And no matter what they think and what they might do, they're our mishpacha. You think about what's going on in Israel now, and you think about all the friction, observant, secular, right, left, and you say, if they could only remember why we bless ourselves to be like Menashe and Ephraim, it would be a good medicine to make us a better people and possibly a closer family, which will only lead to more prosperity and more strength. Have yourself a great day.